his dogs and the dog sleds. And when you think of starting off in a total white wilderness, not a street light, not a road, absolutely nothing but the tundra and snow, and go 200 miles or 250 to the next mission, out there somewhere. Your dogs will take you there.
Oh my gosh.
I think you're probably just a little bit loopy.
It's putting a lot of trust in 2 dogs.
They had, I think, 6.
Well, what if a couple of dogs have a problem?
Yeah.
Then you're stuck.
6. Well, then they
That's
strike
right.
them out separately. And,
No.
Well, anyway, what happened was they were about half the way there, and his lead dog, Rosie, got a lame foot. And he realized he had to, I think he always had one, I don't know if he had an extra dog, but anyway, he had to cut her out of the pack. And then the pack started going back. They missed her because she just pulled that right straight through. And
They left
he
her
said
back?
they had to leave her behind. And that was the worst thing he said he'd ever had to do in his life. And he told her, he said, you just do the best you can. Maybe you can catch up with us, but just get rested, because she was so tired and her foot was swollen.
That's
and
horrible.
all the rest of it. So he said that was a tough decision, but he knew he had to do it. So he did. And he said, and the wolves were all in a circle, all out there around us. When we camped at night in a little campsite, I can't imagine it. But anyway, I should have kept it. And he told me about 2 days later, they were 3/4 of the way. They'd gone quite a way, but they were lagging. He was lagging. And it snowed. There was about 6 or 8 inches of new snow. The sleds were heavier. The dogs were pulling, doing the best they could. But he realized he was in trouble, big trouble, because the dogs were getting so tired. So he said they started out in the morning, and he realized they were going slowly and going along, and he was calling to them and trying to cheer them up, and he said, I've still got a lot of miles to go on this sled. And all of a sudden he felt something in his hand, and he looked down, took his glove off, and it was Rosie's. Rosie's damp nose. She had healed her foot, and in that wide expanse of tundra and snow, she had found them. He hooked her up on the front of the pack, and she just took him right into the base. 200 miles. Well, I don't know how many miles. Oh no, it was probably 60 miles, because he was about 50 or 60 miles up. That's a long way for dog sleds. But he said, was God with us that trip? Yes. He said, I thought we were all done for, all of us. But there was Rosie, he said. That was a joyous reunion, to say the least. And her foot was better, and she was rested, and just the dogs just picked right up with her up front that way.
Amazing.
And, boy, he said he had some real
So what was
scary
so heavy on the
experiences.
sled?
In the underwater, and they wanted to measure what the radiation would be left around in the water and in the land and everything. And Doris and Jim said, well, how about the people who live here? Well, they'll just have to go someplace else. So when they came back, they got all the data from them, and as much as they could. They decided they were going to stop that project. And they started a whole campaign. They lived upstairs over Clarence's parents.
Right.
So that's how we knew about it so much. They had stacks of letters like this all around. They wrote to every senator and governor in the country and told them what was happening, and then how we needed to stand up in Congress and the Senate or wherever it is and tell them what the government is planning to do up there, and how the people would be total pawns. They would lose their living, they would lose their homes, they would lose everything.
If the government even bothered to tell them.
Yeah.
Otherwise it
And
just
as they
becomes
said-
sick and...
But we've lived here for generations. How can they do that to us? And Doris and Jim said, we will work on it. We brought them up to Northwood Lake to the cottage one time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but Hilda, her name was.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little on the chubby side. She would never think to Northwood Lake to the cottage one time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but Hilda, her name was.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little on the chubby side. She would never think of going in the water, and we went swimming, and she
never thought of taking off all her layers of clothes.
She was so hot because they're so used to the cool. And here it is, the middle of the summer, and I said, Hilda, I'm going in the water. Now you watch what I put on, my dressy bathing suit. And I said, I have this bathing suit that you could put on, and what I would like to see you do, and I'll do it first. We had this big truck tire that we inflated, and I said, if we just put this over your head, and I'm going to do it first because I love it. It's so much fun. You can just paddle around and have so much fun, and you're cool and cool. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 I would never do that. Never, 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 never. She did. She did. I finally did it. I finally got her in the water, just in the water up to her knees. And I said, but you're still hot. Just bounce up and down. Oh, but the water. I said, but the water's not like your water.
Right, if they're so cold,
It's
I would
not-
never go in the water.
20 degrees or below. Well, she was terrified. But anyway,
So
Well,
she
we-
never learned to swim because she
never learned to swim. If you fell in, you were gone. That's it. So I will never forget the total bliss on her face when she finally got her courage up, put the tire on her, and she floated. Well, she kept her feet on the ground, but she went up and down with the tire, so she felt safe. She just, oh, now I'm cool.
Did she start swimming after that?
I'm sorry?
Did she begin swimming after that?
No, she never did do the swimming. She just bounced up and down, but that was a lot for her.
Yeah, that's a big step.
That was a big step for her. Hilda Weber, that was her name.
Hilda Weber, I remember her.
Hilda Weber.
And her
Isn't it
mud
amazing
looks.
how
And her-
those thoughts are up here? Maybe I haven't thought of them for 50 years.
Isn't that who
40
you
years.
made, or she sent you
Yeah.
things that you,
Anoraks or
anoraks,
Yeah.
and
they used to wear their cotton dresses over their furs. They wore their fur inside out next to their body, which kept them warm. And then they'd have like a cotton dress, like cotton like that, and they'd make different dresses that they'd wear over their fur to keep them. That door is open. That's good.
it's a strange little door not latch there. But so they sent us some of those parkas
They did.
with all the rickrack all
Yeah,
around and
She made rickracks for the girls, parkas with the embroidered tape and
yeah,
Yeah.
I do recall that.
wasn't
I
that?
wish I had one of those now.
Yeah.
I probably didn't think it was all that great at that age.
No, you wanted to have what your other kids had, of
Right,
course.
but I think it'd be so
Of
cool to
course.
have that now.
But you were young kids. You were 3rd or 4th grade. You were young. But Antonio Weber was his name. I think that's so
Hilda
interesting.
and Antonio, exactly.
That those words and that information is in your head, even if you haven't recalled it for 40 years. Is that
Ellen always had these about